From the mud to the rise, yeah, we built it on the grind. Trench talk, real talk, leave the fake ones behind. We don't fold, we don't break, every move we define. It's the code from the trenches where the real ones align.
Ayo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy back with another savage breakdown from the heart of Chicago's wildest streets. Today, we diving deep into the infamous hit on FBG Duck, the Gold Coast assassination that shocked the city, and the savage crew from O Block that the feds say pulled it off. We talking Los, Zell Munna, THF Badass, and the whole O Block squad. Strap in, this one's about to get real. Chicago, August 2020. FBG Duck, real name Carlton Weekly, out shopping in the fancy Gold Coast neighborhood. He was a legend in the drill scene, but also a marked man in the city's deadliest beef, O Block versus Tookaville. Duck was out there, living his life, but the streets never forget. Suddenly, two cars pull up. 4 masked shooters jump out, gunning Duck down in broad daylight, 16 shots. Duck's girl and a bystander get hit too. The shooters vanish, but the city's talking. The streets knew this was more than random. This was gang war at its most savage. So who did it? The feds have laid it out clearly. The hit on FBG Duck was carried out by some of O Block's most notorious members. The 6 men convicted are Marcus Muwop Smart, Christopher C. Thang Thomas, Kenneth Kenny Mac Robertson, Charles C. Murda Liggins, to Carlos Los Alford, and Ralph T.Z. Turpin. These guys weren't just random shooters, they were part of a well-organized crew tied to the Black Disciples gang faction known as O Block, locked in a brutal rivalry with Duck's Tookaville faction of the Gangster Disciples. But the story doesn't end there. The streets and insiders whisper about a 7th figure, Zell Rawls, better known as Zell Munna. Zell Munna was reportedly one of the shooters who jumped out that day, firing at Duck alongside the others. The evidence even suggests he was hit during the shooting, leaving blood and his gun at the scene. He was a feared hitter in the drill scene, known for his savage approach, and his name keeps coming up when the conversation turns to the hit's execution. Tragically, Zell Munna died in August 2021, reportedly by suicide, shortly before indictments were handed down. Then there's THF Badass, another name that echoes in the trenches when violence is on the table. While not officially charged in the trial, THF Badass is widely recognized as a ruthless enforcer linked to O Block's operations, known for stepping up when things get savage. To Carlos Los Alford played a critical role as one of the getaway drivers, responsible for moving the shooters in and out of the scene with precision. Los's car was reportedly the vehicle used to get close to Duck in the upscale Gold Coast neighborhood, showing the level of planning behind the hit. This wasn't a chaotic drive-by, it was a coordinated military-style operation. Surveillance footage and ballistics tie these individuals together, showing them moving in sync, jumping out of cars, and unleashing a barrage of gunfire that hit Duck 16 times. The shooters didn't just act on impulse, they operated under a chain of command, with T.Z. Turpin allegedly providing intelligence on Duck's location, and others like Muwop and C. Murda leading the assault. The entire operation was designed to maintain and increase O Block's dominance in the gang war, with the murder serving as a brutal message to rivals. In sum, the hit on FBG Duck was a calculated strike by a deadly team. The officially convicted 6 shooters and drivers, with Zell Munna as a key but now deceased participant, and THF Badass as a notorious associate. This was no random act of violence. It was a savage, coordinated hit by O Block's finest, moving like a military unit to take out a high-profile rival. Word on the streets is that the O Block crew didn't just casually use any ride for the hit. They straight up hijacked Los's car for the mission. This wasn't some half-hearted stunt. These guys were locked in, all or nothing. They needed a clean, fast getaway vehicle that wouldn't raise suspicion, and Los's car fit the bill perfectly. The plan was tight, the execution ruthless. No room for mistakes when you're moving against a high-profile target like FBG Duck. Now about Zell Munna, he was one of the key players in this savage operation, but he never made it to trial. Rumors swirled that before the feds could lock him up, Zell took his own life. The pressure from the investigation, the weight of the street life, and the guilt of what went down all piled up on him. It's a harsh reality that many in the drill scene face. When the walls close in, some choose to escape in the only way they know. Jay Hood, another voice from O Block who's seen the streets from every angle, put it into perspective. He said Zell Munna wasn't born a monster. Far from it. Zell was just a young man trying to earn respect in a world where respect means survival. In the hood, it's simple. You either drill or get drilled. That's the brutal code. You gotta prove yourself or you get left behind, or worse. But that life, chasing respect through violence and fear, it eats you up from the inside. Zell's story is tragic because it's the story of so many young men caught in a cycle they can't break. A cycle where the hunger for respect leads to violence, and the violence leads to loss, whether it's freedom, life, or sanity. Zell Munna's rise and fall is a stark reminder of the cost of the street code and how it can swallow you whole before you even realize what's happening. Fast forward to 2024, and the long-awaited justice finally came knocking. The feds had been building their case for years, piecing together evidence, witness testimonies, and surveillance footage to bring down the O-Block crew responsible for FBG Duck's murder. After a grueling 3-month trial, the jury delivered their verdict. All 6 O-Block members, Marcus Muab Smart, Christopher C. Thang Thomas, Kenneth Kenny Mac Robertson, Charles C. Murda Liggins, to Carlos Los Offord, and Ralph Teasy Turpin, were found guilty on multiple charges, including first-degree murder and conspiracy. The courtroom was packed with family, friends, and members of the community, all waiting to see if justice would finally be served. Duck's family was visibly relieved and emotional. His mother, in particular, made a powerful statement that echoed through the room. All they ask is guilty. Her words carried the weight of a mother's pain and the hope that this verdict would bring some closure. To celebrate the moment, she threw what many called a justice party, popping bottles and sharing the victory with those who stood by her family throughout the ordeal. It was a moment of triumph, not just for Duck's family, but for a community tired of violence and loss. The killers who once terrorized the streets would no longer roam free, and that brought a sense of peace, however temporary. But despite the courtroom victory, the streets remained wounded. FBG Duck's death wasn't just another statistic or a name on a list. It was a message sent loud and clear. O-Block wanted to assert their dominance, to show the city who was really in control. The murder was a brutal declaration in the ongoing gang war, a savage power play that left scars far deeper than the physical wounds. Now, with the entire crew locked up and facing long sentences, the feds declared that O-Block's reign was effectively over. The gang war had taken too many lives, destroyed too many families, and left a trail of pain that seemed impossible to heal. The cycle of revenge, retaliation, and violence had only bred more suffering, and the hope was that this verdict might finally break that vicious loop. J Hood, a respected voice from the neighborhood, summed it up with raw honesty. All they did was live evil. What I'm supposed to do, glorify the people that's killing my people? His words reflect the frustration and exhaustion felt by many in the community. The hood is tired of the violence, the bloodshed, and the endless cycle of loss. Yet, despite the weariness, the violence continues to spin, fueled by young men like Zell Munna, caught in the relentless pursuit of respect, only to end up in a coffin or behind bars. This story isn't just about crime and punishment. It's about a community grappling with the harsh realities of street life, the cost of loyalty, and the desperate need for change. The verdict may have brought justice for FBG Duck, but the fight to end the violence and heal the streets is far from over. FBG Duck's murder changed Chicago. The feds cracked down, the streets got quieter, but the pain never left. Duck's mom says she don't want another mother to feel that pain. The city lost too many. T-Roy, K.I., JoJo, E-Dog, now Duck and Zell Munna. It's a cycle that needs to end. So that's the savage story of O-Block, Lost, Zell Munna, and THF Badass, the crew that rode out to kill FBG Duck and paid the ultimate price. The streets remember, the families mourn, and the city tries to heal. If you rockin' with the real, smash that like, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Who should we cover next? Stay dangerous, but stay smart. Peace.